Okay, I'm going to wrap up the sodium ion channel inhibitors video with this very quick one. I want to give you a couple of examples. Salt is just so important to the human body and its function for muscle, for neurology, for brain function. And I don't think people quite understand how important it is. Now, I don't find it coincidental that the people in charge of making the food pyramid and all these people in the sciences have deemed salt as being extremely negative. They blame so much on the overconsumption of salt, where biblically speaking, we are to salt every offering. So again, the Bible gets things right. Now, since people love the taste of salt and it has been used as a preservative for millennia, instead of banning salt, they've just changed salt. They've iodized salt, they've bleached the salt, they've stripped it of all of its mineral content. So what you get on the table at a restaurant, yeah, that's not going to be the best thing for you. But for Celtic sea salt, for ancient sea salt, for those types of salts that still have that mineral content, it is magnificent for the human body. Now, I see why they have tried to demonize salt, because in order to have the body break down, they need to strip the body of what it takes to function. And when the body is stripped of the necessary nutrients and mineral content, then it creates physiological problems, which then again, here comes the doctor and the pharmaceuticals to fix that problem. So it is very much a money-making machine. Well, now, again, they're introducing the importance of salt, but they need to control it, just like with everything else. So when we're talking about what's being sprayed in the skies, when we're talking about what is in our food and why it's GMO'd, and we're talking about the water in which we drink and all of the toxins, one thing that I have been guilty of is I didn't even think about salts. I haven't been thinking about what compounds are they putting or eliminating from things that we consume every day in order to control our absorption of salt. And now we see from the prior two videos that salt is extremely important. So for brain function, for muscle contraction, for everything, we are meant to have salt in our system. So that was one thing that I wanted to add. The second thing that I wanted to add was a peak week in bodybuilding. I'm going back to my roots here. Now, when you train a bodybuilder, it's months and months and months and months and months of preparation. And even before they prep to do a competition or a show, odds are that they've been bodybuilding for years. So they have that mature muscle. They have the striation in their muscle. And I will go on record and say I think bodybuilding is one of the hardest sports, because you are being judged upon the way that you present. So you're being judged on looks and posing, but people are not privy to all the work behind the scenes that it takes. And that work is very isolating. And manipulating your diet, manipulating your carbohydrates, your macros, your micros, your cardio, the manner in which you lift. Are you laddering? Are you pyramiding or reverse pyramiding? Are you doing progressive overload? Is it timed? It's a little science within itself, which is why I fell in love with training bodybuilders, along with my special populations. My bodybuilders were fun, but everyone's a puzzle, right? So I love training the bodybuilders. But anyway, peak week is when we really have to dial in the diet and the water and the sodium. So when these guys get on stage, you want the muscle bellies full, so they must be hydrated, but you need that skin tight. If there is too much fluid in the tissue overlying the muscle, then it's what we call the spillover, and it makes you look puffy, like you're holding on to extra fat, extra weight, and you cannot see the definition. Now, people go and get spray tanned very, very dark I mean, you think this brown is dark. This is what regular old white people do, and even black people go and get spray tans because the darker the better when it comes to bodybuilding competitions. When that light is shining on you, you need to see every striation, every cut, every crease and crevice, because that shows the work that has been put in for the competition. This shows your dedication. And that's why the judging, I think, is very important. We'll get on that on another day, how I feel about the bodybuilding judging right now. But anyway, during the peak week, it is typical that people overconsume water. A lot of people think that if you drink water, you're going to hold on to water. But in order to release water, you have to keep feeding yourself water. And with these mass amounts of water, when you're talking about 2 gallons of water a day, some people have been known to develop wet brain, which is what alcoholics get. And that is when your system is drowning. It is diluting your natural chemical makeup. And when you're diluting the chemicals and the hormones already in your body, then your neurons can't fire properly. So people will pass out, people will forget, people will be slow in speech if they don't add the sodium necessary to their water. The sodium enables people to hold on to the necessary amount of water it takes for the neurons to fire correctly. So it is, again, another little science. If people don't get the sodium right, you see people right on stage in their posing position and they cramp and they can't move. You see other people that don't do their sodium correctly or at all. They just don't know, and they end up walking serpentine on stage. They can't even walk a straight line. It's almost like they are drunk on water. So if that is how it works just for peak week in bodybuilding, imagine what could happen to mass population if we are starved of sodium. Now, I've been very vocal on videos and very vocal in my personal and professional life when I talk about the fluoride stare and the calcified pineal gland. I failed to recognize the fact that maybe the lack of sodium is actually part of the problem. It could be part of the problem why people seem to not have common sense anymore. Well, people are not putting one and one together to make two, where they get lost in thoughts and conversation, why they cannot absorb new information. I do understand that fluoride and calcified pineal gland can make a giant difference, but now, pertaining to the sodium ion channel inhibitors, I'm starting to think, is this part of the problem? Is this what we have been inhaling from our fresh air? Is this what we have been consuming? We're not privy to know what kind of pesticides are sprayed on our fruits and vegetables. We do not know what additives have been put into the soil when they are growing crops. We don't know what the animals are being fed. We only know what we are presented with. But if we take what we do know from credible sources, or what we deem credible sources, and now we add in the sodium ion channel inhibitors, this makes a lot more sense to me. I am going to do a little dive into that Singapore study with the human neuron-driven biological AI, because I want to know what they are utilizing. What are they utilizing? Because salt, water, I said in a previous video, water is not a good conductor of electricity. You add salt, bing, 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 you're good to go. So I don't know what exactly the plan in the future is, if humans are going to be if we're going to be the power source for AI, which it is very Matrix-like, but this is the direction we are. This is where we are. There's no avoiding it. Then they're going to need to be able to extract the energy and be able to manipulate the energy that we produce and find a way to collect it and harvest it. So I do believe they already know how to harvest this. This is why the 567G. I think that's why the CERN. I think there's a lot of that going on already. But when it comes to the amount of power, the amount of electricity, the amount of energy that we can produce and give off, this is where I'm still scratching my head a little bit. So I'm going to unpack a little bit more, but I hope this little 3-part video thing got you scratching your own head, got you thinking a little bit deeper on what's going on in the world. I think that everything can be used for good or for evil. And though some people truly do want to help those that have chronic pain, acute pain, epilepsy, things of that nature, I think that is very virtuous. But in the wrong hands, we already know it can be used for nefarious purposes. Now, I believe that all of this is already in practice. I don't think this is new information to them. It's new information to me because it's the first time I've ever seen it written out this way. But then I have to ask the question, why? Why are they actually writing about it? This is not new. None of this is new. So why are they allowing us to have this information now? Why are we privy to having it now? Unless it was already in play and it's going to ramp up. So what can we do about this? Well, drink your water, spring water hopefully, because it already has minerals in it. But get some natural salts. Get some natural salts. Your body will tell you what you need. Your body will tell you what you need, and your body is amazing. One little tidbit, I won't ramble on too long on this one, but back in my eating disorder days, when I was forced to go into a refeeding program, which almost killed me for like the 3rd time. Super dangerous. I'll make another video on that on another day. I told the doctor that was in charge, I said, I hate beets, but for some reason, all I'm craving is beets. And the doctor laughed and he goes, well, it's because you're anemic. It's because you're low, your blood count it's low. You need iron. Your blood needs to produce. So your body is telling you what you need to eat to produce the blood in your body. And I said, so why am I craving like cantaloupe and raisins? Like, I don't even like raisins and cantaloupe. I'm a watermelon gal if I did eat. And he said, well, potassium. Your body is craving potassium because your heart is on its last legs and you need the potassium for your heart to pump. And when I got into fitness, well after my recovery, I remembered all these things and I started researching and looking it up, and I was like, the human body truly is amazing. Now, the only problem that we have is that when the human body is craving a certain nutrient, we have all of these synthetic options. And when I say synthetic, I mean the food sources that have 20 different ingredients and preservatives in them. There is always one whole food that will satisfy the body's craving, because the body will crave for a purpose. It is true you can train your body to crave things that you continuously consume. That is rewiring of the brain. But at its core, the body knows what it needs. So if you're craving carbohydrates, if you feed your body a whole grain, or if you feed your body a complex carbohydrate, a good fruit that has fiber, a vegetable with fiber, if you feed your body that, the craving should, in a healthy body, go away. But now people will run to cookies and crackers and things like that to satisfy that carbohydrate craving. So, little bit of a ramble, but the body is amazing. God gave us everything that we need. And again, it's biblical. I need to do some more converging between what's going on in the world today and the Bible pertaining to nutrition and other things like that. I know I've addressed materials that we're supposed to wear, the food that they cite in the Bible. I've already done that. We know salt at every offering. We know that salt was very important. It wasn't just for a preservative. We also know that alcohol is not horrible for you. You're supposed to drink wine for what ails you, and it's fermented. And fermented foods and beverages are very good for your gut health, for your enteric system. People take probiotics. You don't need to take probiotics. Brew your own kombucha. Make your own wine, or pick out a wine from a local winery where it doesn't have all the sulfides and all the preservatives in there. I'm not telling people to go out and get wasted. I'm not saying any of that. But everything in the Bible is there for a purpose. And I think we need to really start paying attention to it. And I know that we read the good book thinking that it's ancient, ancient, ancient. Yes, it's a very old book. But I'm going to back up what I say. I think all the technology we have is not new. People are finally waking up to this fact when it comes to architecture and other things, but we also need to realize when it comes to food, when it comes to fueling your body, when it comes to human connection, we have capabilities that have been hidden from us for a very long time. A very long time. If everybody knew what we are capable of, the way the world would operate would be magnificent. And the principalities on this earth wouldn't be having it. They want to keep the hierarchy. So, on that note, before I get past 20 minutes, I'm going to stop this, rewatch before I upload, and get my butt to work. Have a great day. Bye.